Hey everyone. So I have been watching the conversation around Emma Grede, and it made me realize something about my own life abroad. Like, this has been the connection. So I have lived abroad for approximately 11 plus years across different countries in Asia. And if I'm honest, I played smaller than I needed to in certain areas of my life. When I started this channel, I talked about rebuilding, and it was after going home for 5 months and reflecting, I realized that I've been playing quite small. And not because I wasn't capable, but because I started accepting narratives that weren't mine yet. Things like dating is harder for Black women abroad. Things like you won't get into a top international school because I am Black. Or I won't get into leadership roles abroad in the international scene because nobody wants me here, especially in Asia. Or I could only go far in certain places. And I will say that some of these things are often said, like, all the time. And I recognize that I wasn't actually testing if it was true for me. I started moving and making my decisions as if these have already been decided, as if I've tried these things. So I essentially limited myself before life even had the chance to. And I get so excited now understanding that I don't need to take on a narrative before I have even tried certain things. And I just want to be clear, I am not saying that there aren't any challenges. I am not trying to say that bias does not exist. I've definitely experienced things. If you go back to one of my videos, I share about week 3 of here in Hong Kong and some things that I experienced. However, that is not my entire story, and that is not your entire story either. And this is actually why I do the work that I do now. I really support Black educators and Black women who are moving abroad, specifically to Asia. And one of the biggest things that I help with is not shrinking your life before it even begins. You don't control everything, but you do control how small or how bold you show up. And moving abroad in itself is an opportunity, but thriving abroad is a decision. And that's what I talk about here, thriving, not just moving and just operating from the same exact mindset you had when you left said country, but how can you thrive? How can you actually create or design the life that you like? And as someone who has extensive background in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, it's so important the way that we speak to ourselves. It is so important the way that we condition our mind. And even as we do that, also the unlearning. I've had to unlearn so many things being on this side of the world, because I've had years of conditioning. And that is one of the things that we don't talk about a lot about moving abroad, is that once you leave your current or familiar environment, you don't recognize how much you're living off of a condition. And I always implore you to keep the conditions that work for you, that help you to thrive, but also allow yourself to question some of the conditions that may be limiting you from having the things that you desire. Because I know for me, that is something that I have thought about in this conversation about moving abroad. It's something that I continue to challenge within myself, and it is something I always want to challenge and empower the Black women around me, is like knowing. I wish someone told me these kinds of things when I started off living abroad. I think that I would probably have more. I think that I wouldn't have been so scared to do certain things. I would have felt that joy is something I get to experience and not like this minimal thing. I mean, because even that, right, is like joy is only supposed to be reserved for a certain period of time. And feeling good in our body, feeling good in our skin, and knowing that we can be in all the spaces. So if you are a person that you know that you want to thrive abroad, if you're a Black woman and you are thinking about moving to Asia, then you may want to tune in and follow me as I share and give you all the tips. And what are you willing to do? What kind of narrative do you want to shift? What do you want? We're in 2026. What is something that you would like to do for yourself this year, this moment? Share it in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you again. Bye.